Thank you, Andreas, and thank you for having us today in the session. I'm super excited to share what we've done in the last 5 weeks as Made in Morris and CCP conducted a workshop with the handicraft sector. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. Great, I think you should be able to see my screen now. So in today's webinar, Andreas and Uli and everybody took you through so far, exploring how you can design new innovative products and services. And the local handicraft artisans and designers can be key partners in this endeavor. And I would like to explore this with you guys in the next 40 minutes. So let me give you a quick background of what we have done as part of the Sustainable Island Mauritius project. So just as Andreas and Louis and Darren and Kartika have supported you, hotels and tour operators and other businesses that are part of the tourism value chain, my team has been working towards enabling local handicraft makers and local designers to create and sell products that are sustainable, align also with the international expectations for trends and quality, also making sure that there's a link between the products and the brand to Mauritius. And lastly, to create transparent and engaging storytelling around their brand and products. So last week, we concluded the 5-week workshop with 15 local brands. And for this, we joined up with Made in Morris, the Mauritian label, I'm sure all of you know, that stands for high quality and local products. And they represent more than 350 local brands. And it was really key for us to join up with Made in Morris, who have a lot of experience working with local SMEs in the field of handicrafts and other local products to combine our different expertises to really have an impact. And here you see our 4 faces of the team of the workshop that are also all here today. And Shireen will quickly, maybe do you want to introduce yourself for 1 second before I go on?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having us. And very happy to be part of this whole discussion and table ronde, as we say. Happy that we could be part of the discussion as well, because Made in Maurice since day one. It's been almost 9 years that Made in Maurice was launched, but since day one, it's been definitely our motto to be a representative of sustainability, and especially building bridges between the inland part where things are being produced and the outskirts of the island where tourists usually have a perspective on the horizon and the white beaches. But we definitely really wanted to create synergies between 2 worlds so that tourists would see more to it than just white beaches and coconut trees. So I'll have a chance to talk more later, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Shireen. Yes, we'll definitely have some words later, and we also want to have an interactive session with you guys. So because creating new products is not done in a bubble, and that's true for your product development as well as for the handicraft sector, the more we collaborate across the entire ecosystem, the more successful and integrated the outcome will be. So I really, today is a great invitation to collaborate beyond. So I want to highlight some of the benefits of working across the local ecosystem. The potential for great ideas and innovation for all sides is manifold because everybody brings their knowledge and their experiences to the table, and all of those are really valuable. And you meet the expectations of tourists who are seeking local, authentic, and unique products and experiences. You also strengthen your company's brand as more local and sustainable. And you gain so much in what stories you can tell to your clients, because all of the stories of the artisans then become also part of your story that you can tell. And your sustainability impact ripples across all of Maurice when you collaborate locally. So what we would like to do during this project is to support a culture of co-creation of handicraft products and services that go beyond having sort of the souvenirs or places to visit as an add-on at the end of your product development. So we want to invite you to join into this conversation at the beginning, to have an ongoing conversation from the start of an idea between you and a handicraft brand to brainstorm, to understand everybody's needs and key aspects of the product to be successful in the end for all parties. So what could co-creation products with handicraft brands look like? So we just want to give you some sparks. Like imagine an organization like The Good Shop. And if you don't know The Good Shop in Mauritius, please Google them. Not now, but definitely do that. Imagine an organization like The Good Shop would create rooms or spaces in your hotels that are entirely upcycled and unique. And your company can tell the story of being circular and collaborating with local NGOs, thereby having a positive impact on the environment and the community. Or imagine you work with one of our glass entrepreneurs and our beekeeper participant to create natural beeswax candles from recycled glass bottles, could even be your bottles, with a unique scent that is just created for your hotels and could be part of the interior, but could also be sold to tourists to take home to have the scented, wonderful memory of a place. Or imagine you offer jewelry making courses that works with recycled glass and waste products that are collected from your hotel, turned into a beautiful collection, and having a lively artisan create jewelry with your customers as an experience in the hotel. Or imagine you can tour Mauritius' unique natural environment and take your customers to pick their own local herbs at one of our brand's farms to create their own Mauritius tea, have herb-induced lunch on site, and take home the tea in a beautiful box that could be even co-branded. So hotels today are delivering personalized and unique experience that go beyond expected hotel amenities, and the same is true for tours. So imagine you follow the trend of the shoppable hotel, where everything in the rooms, interiors are decorated with unique local products that the visitor can buy. So collaborating with local brands is key, but also consider collaborating beyond with other organizations that have supported creating local sustainable products, like, for example, the label Made in Maurice, like The Good Shop, or like the pop-up shop, and like many other NGOs. Such collaborations with experienced actors can support your sustainability efforts, allow for joint storytelling, and strengthen the local ecosystem. So also in the 11 impact criteria that Andreas has talked about. Now, moving from imagine to the concrete ideas. So our workshop had 15 brands that are now, after finishing the workshop, ready to start a process of prototyping new products in the next 6 months. And we want to invite you to join them. So the new products, you could be part of the new products. And let's see if today we can bring some of you together to co-create new products. We will share these ideas of our 15 brands that are the starting point of a conversation between you and them. So those are not final, those are some sparks. We also didn't want to tell you all the details, but give you some sparks of where they want to go and if there are options. After we introduce the ideas, we will split into 2 breakout rooms. There'll be a room 1 hosted by me that focuses on creating experiences. And there'll be a room 2 with Cherie that focuses on physical products. And we will reflect on these ideas for 20 minutes and how you might get involved in these ideas, that they could come alive. So let me just spark some of these ideas. What do we have? So part of our brands was a beekeeper that can create, of course, not only honey and specialty honeys, but natural wax candles. And possibly new products and tours with that. We also have a glass studio that has a lot of experience recycling all types of glass. They could also recycle your glass bottles to create new products, such as the candles or other products that could be part of jewelry making workshops at their studio, at your hotel, or as part of a tour. We have a coral reef casting company that could create a unique coral reef 3D replica that you could use in your hotel to talk about the reefs and their natural environments to your visitors, and really do something on educating them around that, having a positive handprint here. We have a very special fashion designer in our group who works with beautiful salvaged denim. And you can think about denim beyond jeans to create even interiors, or transform some of your textiles into a collection. We have two companies that create different herbs. They both have agricultural places that are beautiful and organic, that invite for a tour to pick their own teas, for example. The customers maybe even have a herb-induced lunch there and take their own selection home in a beautiful tin. We have a very experienced book publisher. She's focused on deep knowledge for kids about the island's history, etc. And she could work with you to really create some books detailing some of the environmental and species that you also want to talk about with your customers, and selling books to clients from Germany or France in their own language could be a really nice product to have in your hotel shop, or even as in a kids corner. We have some activities. We also have a plush toy company that is highly sustainable and could produce with you local species plush toys that sensitize and educate children with a whole story around local flora and fauna, and could be embedded in some of your tours. We have one of the oldest biscuit makers on Mauritius. They could offer tours and tell the story of manioc and the tradition of biscuits, as well as create manioc flour, and using even manioc flour in your hotel's kitchen, telling that whole history of manioc on the island and giving you opportunities to tell new stories to your customers. We have a care product company that is interested in creating new care products, maybe even possibly for kids or other products with you, and they're highly sustainable as well. We also have a jewelry company that is able to print custom pieces for your clients in 3D or develop new collections unique to your hotel, or even unique to certain tours where you touch on certain places and spaces on Mauritius. So those are some of the first sparks we want to send, and maybe you had already some ideas, or maybe you have some initial questions. And Shireen and I, and also Sarah and Anya, who have been part of the workshop, are now ready to invite you to meet us in rooms to maybe even start brainstorming on these ideas. Maybe you also just have questions, and maybe we can take the next 20 minutes to reflect on what can be done together with the handicraft and design sector. And then we will, after the 20 minutes, we will come back into the main room for some final words. But now I saw, Shireen, you raised your hand. Do you want to say something before we go?
Yeah, maybe for the sake of our audience, just a few words as per our discussion when it comes to the definition of handicraft in Mauritius. Maybe you could just from experience, actually the definition of handicraft in Mauritius has to be rethought, because usually handicraft is associated with old-fashioned ways of weaving, working wood, etc., which we do have, but in very little quantities, and it's actually waving out, and it's slowly dying because the new generation is not really interested into persevering and going into that field. So there is a need to redefine what we agree on when it comes to handicraft. In our case, and in the examples that we've been giving you as to sparkles, these are most of them companies who have a very precise know-how that has been developed over the years in Mauritius. So they've developed their own style, they've developed their own know-how and expertise, but it is to a certain point considered as our handicraft. So I just wanted to add that specification when it comes to the reality in Mauritius. So the whole definition of handicraft has to be rebuilt and rethought, but with you, so that it's really meaningful and purposeful.
Thank you, Shireen. I think that's an important point to consider handicrafts and not as the sort of souvenirs that we want to replicate from other places that we see, because Mauritius partially doesn't have this huge wealth of hundreds and hundreds of years of handicraft traditions, which also means this gives us an opportunity to really innovate new products, because Mauritius is a modern island with many opportunities. So I think we can come up with very creative ways to come up with new products that are not, like I think I said a little bit, like the add-on at the end of a tour, you add something, but you really involve the handicraft designers and innovators at the beginning of the tour to see what can we create together that it actually really makes sense to your tour or to your hotel, that it's unique to your tour and hotel for that season or for that collection. And it really becomes something quite unique and rooted in the place. So that's really what we're looking for. So think beyond the Dodo keychain. There could be, many things also touching on the 4 impact areas that Andreas talked about. If we're thinking bees, we think about biodiversity. If we're thinking about working with other organizations, we can think about employment in NGOs and community development, etc. So I think we would touch on many of the impact areas that you also want to have impact in. And the handicraft organizations we work with also have very strong values and want to have positive impact on the island. So I think there you find people that really have the same goals as you do, besides having a successful business, of course.